Ladies and gentlemen, something that you all have been waiting for quite a long time. We now move forward to the penultimate session of the day. This is going to be a special one indeed because we have a very, very special person over here joining us, taking time out of a busy schedule to be with us over here. Very happy to see her all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is about a fireside chat on the topic, progressive content on OTT, women leading the charge. I'll repeat the topic for you all once again. This is about progressive content on OTT, women leading the charge. First, I'll invite on stage Mr. Siddhartha, Laik, founder and editor-in-chief, IWMBuzz Media, to moderate this session. Give it up loudly for Mr. Siddhartha, Laik, ladies and gentlemen, for putting the entire thing together. And to join him on stage, an actress you all know, you have seen her body of work for the longest time. She keeps, kind of doing excellent work on screen. She keeps pushing herself beyond regular limits to be the person that she is. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Rakul Preet Singh over here. Please give a huge round of applause for Rakul Preet Singh. Make some noise over here, Mumbai. Always happy to see you. How are you? Very good, very good. Thank you. All right, so, sir, over to you. The audience have been waiting for this for the longest time, and they're very excited to see Rakul.
Thank you so much, Subhojit. Thank you all for being a wonderful audience throughout the day. We have had a phenomenal agenda discussions starting from Monica Shergill of Netflix to Geo Studios to branded content of TVF, and we have Rakul with us. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
The topic is progressive content on OTT, women leading the charge. I'd like to begin by asking, what do you feel is actually progressive when you use the term in its true sense? I know you have done a wonderful project called Chhatriwali. You won an award for that also at our OTT Awards. We'll come to that, but for you, when I ask you, how do you define the term progressive content?
Well, firstly, good afternoon, everyone. Progressive can mean different things for different people, but I feel just having the ability to talk about taboo subjects like you yourself mentioned in Chhatriwali, or even one of my other films, Dr. G, which was about the whole gynecology aspect. I feel anything that could be a taboo, that's a tough conversation to have in the world that we live in, or breaking barriers, or even when you say women leading a particular script, right? Or hard-hitting stories, or realistic stories, or biopics, everything is progressive when you're telling a story that needs to be told, which is not just fantasy, but also a little hard-hitting. I think that for me is progressive, like showing you a mirror of the world we live in.
So when concepts come to you, now OTT in India has seen a huge rise. It has opened opportunities and doors for a lot of artists in the country across religion, across genres, etc., etc. Please tell me that, do you feel that it's a hype that OTT means good artists are there, or it's creating a new door for new talent to come in, or you still feel that when a strong star is cast in a project, it helps in getting eyeballs immediately?
There's no one answer to that. I feel as and when technology evolves, when consumption patterns change, our tastes change. When there was just radio and when television came in, people thought radio is going to die, but it's sustained, and just the mode of consuming radio is different. All of us listen to radio in our cars. So I feel like this is a transitioning phase that we're all going through. I think both have their advantages. I love OTT because, like you yourself said, that it gives so many more actors a chance, a platform to showcase their talent. There's so many more scripts. How many films would you make in a year, right? And now there's so many shows, there are films, there's just that entire wide range of platform that's available for all these budding actors. And again, hard-hitting and progressive stories in that, challenging roles in that. So I feel it's got this whole new world that we've opened up to. Having said that, I think the magic of cinema will always live. I'm an actor and I live, breathe, dream cinema, and I love watching films in theaters. And I think nothing can take away that joy. But I feel both will coexist beautifully. I guess the kind of scripts that are being made are going to be challenged. Writing will get better. So I think it's going to be a healthy competition, which is great. Which is great for everyone in the industry because it'll push us to do better.
I think absolutely right. The balance is important. It gives more concepts to be seen into. When specifically Chhatri Wali was offered to you, of course, you are a mainstream actress, and the topic is bold, almost borderline taboo in the country, but you decided to do it, and it came out wonderfully well. So when it came to you, thought "Oh, maybe should I do it or not do it, or is it going to impact my overall mainstream image? What were your thoughts when the project was offered to you?
I won't lie, I did have discussion in my own head of what are the pros and cons, but I loved the script. And at the end of the day, I feel that the conviction that the script had to offer, and if as an actor I can't experiment, then there's no point in just dancing around the trees. I love that. I love commercial. But then at some point, you also want to do meaningful films. And I'll take this opportunity to share with you, when Chhatri Wali released, there were inbox messages on my social media from women who could not have this conversation with their partners, and they just showed them the film. And they were like thank you messages where I remember this message very clearly where this girl said that I'd been trying to tell my husband the same thing for years and I showed it to him. Because unfortunately in the society that we live in, sex education is a taboo, right? We have sex education in school, but even when we were in school, we were like, ha, 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 ha. We don't want to attend that class. All of us have giggled because we've made it such a big deal. But this is the natural biology of our body. And the more we educate the youth, the more we educate the women, the better it is for their health. So I think like in a day, I was like, no, you know what, Rakul, you got to do this. And it was very tastefully done. And I think there's always a way to show taboo subjects. Like you cannot, like Chhatri Wali, for instance, was a very family-driven film because it had this whole atmosphere of a father, mother, everyone. It was entertaining, engaging, and it could be watched by a family. So there was nothing double meaning in the film. And I think the way you present a taboo subject is also very important. So for me, it was like a go ahead within the first 1-2 days of listening to the script, and I'm so glad that it was so well received.
So at the end of the day, when you say go back home after a hard day's work, you have a project like Chhatri Wali and also a project like you said, a masala entertainment. So now that you have been around, done projects, what calls you more? Aur ek Chhatri Wali ho jaye, nahi to, okay fine, this masala entertainment is my next call.
I'll tell you like both, huh? Because you need to do the commercial films, for the songs, the big scale, for people to watch Chhatri Wali. You need that. Like if I need to have a certain, and I'm being very honest, I need to have a certain visibility with the big commercial films to be able to tell a story that I really want to tell. That maybe I'm headlining, whether it's Chhatri Wali or it's any other film that I choose to do in the future. I need to be able to sink into the audiences. And I think that's why a little bit of both. I mean, I'm not going to lie again, like you love masala, yeah, you love songs, you love that
overall
glam.
life,
But as an actor, the satisfaction that you get after a good day's scene, which could also be in a commercial film, it's not necessarily that you're not doing anything. I think even the way commercial films are being perceived is changing now. Girls have amazing roles. I think both. As long as I'm shooting, as long as I'm on set, I think I am very happy.
Wonderful. Now you are married to a successful producer, Jackie. I believe in your home, content will always be a part of conversation. Yeah. So when a script comes to you or a director approaches you, do you consult him or take a second opinion, should I do this or not? Because he wears a professional lens also.
We try to limit our work discussions at home because he's a producer, he's getting multiple scripts at all times. And yes, if he's going ahead with something, then he'll like, maybe tell me the story, this is what we're doing, what do you think? But we try to limit our conversations because otherwise work will never end. And if there are times I'm confused or I just want like a second opinion, I do discuss, but it's not on an everyday basis. I discuss with my dad also, I discuss with Jackie as well. You know, you just need some bouncing boards. But we try to consciously avoid work conversations.
So you keep your personal and professional balance when it comes to
Yeah, it's very important to be
relationship.
conscious about it. Otherwise, you know, you can just be, because our work hours are really long, right? You know, when you're shooting, if I'm shooting for 14 hours, 12 hours, and I come back home and I tell him, you know what, how was my day? This is what we did. Then there's no conversation about, hey, how are you doing today?
Very true.
Which is very important. So yeah, there is a conscious decision of not talking work too much.
Not working. So I think it's fair enough also. I mean, it's a learning for all of us in today's digital age. That comes to my next question. We are living in an era of instant validation or instant rejection.
Yeah.
You are a very strong social media influencer, if I can call, in terms of the followers you have. You are opinionated also. Now, some performances work, some don't. And at times, it can lead to trolling. It can lead to good comments, sometimes extremely dark, maybe comments in your box. So how do you deal with the social media trolling phenomena?
I'll tell you something. When I started working back in 2013, there was not so much influx of Instagram, social media. And I think the first 4-5 years sort of define your mindset, right? So the generation that is coming in today is more dependent on that instant validation. I think for us, like when my first film came out, we didn't really care. We didn't really know. We would just post pictures even without like the photo shoots that happen now. We would just post them randomly, badly clicked pictures and not care. And I think that sort of becomes your frame of mind. So for me personally, see, everyone has an opinion, right? And everyone has the right to have one. But I really don't read too many comments. If I feel like there's negativity, I distance myself. As long as it's constructive criticism, that's great. As long as it is about your film, about your role, that's feedback, right? That you want to take that and you want to work on it. But most often, it's not that.
It's not that. It's rare.
It can really get very, very dark, and it can really get inhuman.
Vindictive.
Very, very bad. It could just be like randomly, you know, and it's sometimes even vulgar. It's very vulgar.
True.
Unfortunately, there's no check on it. So I just distance myself from it. I feel like mera kaam ho gaya. Once I've posted, I'm done with it. And that's it. My validation doesn't depend on how many comments or how many likes I'm getting. I think I'm much more than that in my head. So I'm like, you know, I really don't depend on that.
But do you, like you said, back in time, you just post a picture there. Yeah. Now you're more thoughtful about what you put?
I still do. Sometimes I still do, and then my makeup artist calls and he's like, you didn't check your hair is out. And I'm like, it's fine, it's human. You know, I feel like if so many people are following you, you also have to show the human side.
The personality, yeah.
And the human side, that, you know, the idea of perfection is what we post is after a lot of, you know, a full team working behind you. Yeah. There's a stylist, there's a hair and makeup team, there's a photographer. And then the young girls think, oh, this is aspirational, but this is, you know, I'm not this. So it's not fair for anyone. So I feel it's good to just be real. Like, you know, today I posted something about golf because it's National Sports Day. Yeah. It's just me playing golf on multiple different occasions. So I feel the more real you are also, yeah, at least I like to be like that.
So there's a constant talk in the industry that nowadays a lot of casting directors or producers look at how many followers you have rather than your acting chops to decide on who to cast on a project or not. What do you have to say about it?
I've never heard that.
I mean, if you see, it's become a phenomenon.
ऐसे तो I should get a lot of calls. हाँ? मतलब then तो I should get a lot of calls. No, I don't think so. I think it's more brands. It's not actors. I'll tell you one thing. No director, no maker is going to cast you because you have a great social media presence. Because let me tell you, if I have, say, 24 million followers, and if each one of them goes and watches the film, that film will cross 500, 600 crores.
True.
Right? But that doesn't happen. The footfalls of a crore make your film a hit. that's 10 million. That doesn't happen. So if that was the nature of work, then everyone who's above 10 million would be cast in films. But that's not the case. No maker is going to just cast because of your social media presence. They have their vision, they do auditions, they do look tests, or whatever their thought is, whether you fit the role or you don't. And I think that process is pretty certain, it's set, it doesn't depend. Brands, yes, because that's a very small engagement.
It's a reach medium.
It's a reach medium, it's an advertising medium. So I think brands do depend on your social media presence, yes, to some extent.
Wonderful. So acting still holds the caliber. Now,
Yeah, there are good casting directors, so I think they're doing their job well.
fingers crossed. So, since we're talking about OTT, do you get time to watch something? Do you get time to binge watch? Anything that you have watched
Yeah,
lately? Indian originals, if you can talk about.
Indian originals. I just watched Mirzapur season 3.
Okay.
And
Liked it?
I liked it. I liked that whole Mirzapur. I really liked Kohra.
Phenomenal,
I'd
yeah,
watched it
phenomenal.
last year. It's not recent, but I really liked it. I really liked this other show, which was CA Topper, Tribhuvan Mishra or something like that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
on, I think it's on
Yeah.
Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. And I'm forgetting suddenly the name of this one show, which was also a lawyer-based small show.
Mamla Legally you're talking about? It's
Mamla
Mamla
Legal Hai.
yeah.
I thought that was fun. Panchayat, all these shows are great. So I do watch a lot of shows.
So, when you watch these shows, overall, I need to ask this. We are in a competitive space. Do you analyze performances? Do you analyze scenes? Do you keep track of, okay, fine, this is what is happening maybe in my competitive space? How does it go about it?
Oh, absolutely. And not now. I think ever since I started working from my auditioning days, when you're standing in queues and Aram Nagar, the famous Aram Nagar, and trying to audition and meet people. Even then, you keep your eyes and ears open as to what's happening, who's doing what are the films that are being cast, and I think that's an ongoing process. As and when you keep growing in your professional life, of course, you don't leave that aspect of it. You still keep a check on, okay, what's happening, what are the kind of performances that are being appreciated, what's the kind of writing that people are liking, which shows are working, because I would love to do a show. I'm reading a lot of shows right now, but I really want it to be like a game changer,
yeah.
like a mold breaker kind of a show. So I'm still waiting for that right one, but yeah, I do analyze. And I think as an actor, you start watching every film so technically that, oh, great, the background score was so nice. Oh, you know what, the action is so nice. The lighting was so good. I think you just become so technical over the years. That happens.
You can't take that lens out of when you view something.
Yeah.
Now that you're talking about performances, you're talking about women leading charge in storytelling. Anyone specifically you look up to? Maybe see, okay, wish I could match that level of performance. Anyone you look up to?
A couple of them, yeah. I absolutely love Priyanka Chopra. I feel like she's always been, again, this mold breaker. It's not an easy feat that she's achieved, globally, doing films, doing some kick-ass work. I adore her completely for what she's achieved. And then Tabu ma'am. I think she's doing some extraordinary work, from her presence in an international show now to the kind of films that she's doing here, It's just, who would have thought that cinema and writing is going to change? Everybody always said, oh, there's a shelf life to actresses, as if we are food products, that come with an expiry. So I feel like that's changing. And whether it's Tabu ma'am or, like I said, Priyanka, or even Bhumi is doing some great work, Tapsi is doing some great work. I think even in the younger generation, a lot of people are doing great stuff, and that's very, very motivating.
I think thanks to OTT again, you get to see some very different performances.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about Bollywood a bit. Oftentimes there have been so much chatter about Bollywood numbers are not being driven by box office, and that's truly one of the parameters of apparently the movie being good. What do you think has gone wrong overall when it comes to the hit rate in Bollywood? Out of the, say, 20 movies that are releasing, maybe one is getting successful. So what do you think has gone wrong?
Okay, I'm going to be
something has gone wrong.
I'm going to be very, very honest with this, okay? I feel what's gone wrong is that we are scrutinizing every film's box office. And what's gone wrong is that we're discussing this here. When you talk about other industries, when you don't hear about Hollywood, which film has worked, which has not worked, right? This is where social media, I feel, is giving too much information which is not needed. Why? Let's go back, right? Let's go at the time where Sholay released. Sholay became a blockbuster 2 weeks after its release. Nobody knew. People used to wait, even when I was growing up, we used to wait for reviews in the paper, and on Monday we used to get that review. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday was a genuine people, audience feedback. But today, because of the kind of access that everybody has, and limited resources, and multiple ways of entertainment, it's like, okay, great, let me see. Oh, day one is not that great, great. We are reporting too much. When the first day, first shows going on of a film, I see people are putting reviews, you know, now this has happened, now that has happened, now it's interval.
Real time.
Why? You are taking away the joy of people's experience. And I feel the less we discuss that, let the audiences decide. I'm not saying don't give numbers, but like don't plaster it in there. The business of a film is not what an audience should decide whether they watch a film or not. Whether they like the trailer, they should watch it. If they want to go watch a star, if they want to watch that film, it should be purely, you know, dependent on that. So I really feel too much discussion, too much information on social media. And yes, of course, like I said, there is a transitioning phase, but it's not like 1 in 20 films is working. If you look at the other industries, whether if it's the South industry, tell me when was the last Telugu film that worked? We don't know that because they don't beat about their own industry. There's extreme unity. You know?
True.
We don't know. Tell me which was. We are talking about Bahubali and we are talking about Pushpa, but yeah, it's been 3 years.
3 years since Pushpa came, yeah.
And then there was KGF. That's been also quite some time. So I'm saying this year, tell me one big blockbuster Telugu film or one big blockbuster Tamil film. You know? So that whole attitude of not really giving the right picture, I feel is also responsible in having this chatter. It's more the chatter than the reality.
But do you feel that Bollywood stars or stars should reduce their fees to support producers?
Well, actresses, though, anyway, don't get paid that much. So what will I say on that? I think that's a call. See, overall, there's going to be a change. I can't speak for actors, but definitely,
Personal opinion,
personally, I do feel that the remuneration should be dependent on the kind of box office you're bringing. You know, I mean, the kind of business your film is doing, there needs to be some math to it. And I think the producers should, again, I feel like it all comes down to unity. I think everyone should come together, restructure, figure it out whether, I mean, this is our industry, this is our bread and butter, and we all need to stand together if things are not working or working, figure out a mathematics that everything falls in place. You know, nobody should be bleeding. Yeah.
So that's true. I mean, I believe there's going to be a paradigm shift, and a lot of people are talking about it. If the movie does well, it's win-win for all.
Yeah.
And stars are equally a part of the overall success ratio.
Yeah.
Now, you've worked in South movies, you've worked in Bollywood. There's a constant chatter of South, Bollywood divide. Aisa kuch hai, there is a true animosity.
मैंने अब भी ये बोला, there is no divide. We are one Indian film industry, and that's my conditioning happened in Telugu, right? I'm extremely thankful to the South industry for giving me so much love and respect. And I know the amount of unity that there is in the South. And I feel like we as media are creating this divide. We are bringing these questions up. We in our houses don't think there's a divide. I've just imagined the amount of diversity we have in our country. If all the best of all the industries come together, you can create international level cinema that people will talk about globally. So I feel there's no divide. I think we just need to stop talking about that chatter and stop talking about that divide and comparing two industries. I think everything has its own advantages and differences.
So there's no divide, but I would say there's a healthy competition between
Yeah,
both
I'll
the
tell you, two films are releasing on the same date, then everyone's like, oh, there's a clash, oh, there's a clash. As if films, there've been four films that have released and been successful. The only difference is today, you have this information at the click of a button. And earlier, we didn't get to know if four films were releasing together. You know, that's the difference. There's a difference in consumption of how we get our news. And we have all that news and we have all that, oh, is there a clash between, you know, a South film and a Hindi film? So what? They will go and watch. People, audiences, let the audiences
per their
decide.
choices,
Yeah. We are a country with, what, 100 billion people? How many? Yeah.
And it's growing, so there's ample opportunity for everyone in this space. I have 3 more
Yeah.
questions. I know you're showing time's up.
Yeah.
So you have a very strong social media following that you mentioned. So what do you have to think about this PAPS culture? You know, people coming out of airport and, you know, at times it's everywhere. Secondly, also very interesting of stars lining up at weddings, you know, at red carpet weddings of maybe prominent business people. So do you think it's frivolous or it's needed, or you're like, who are you to judge me?
So firstly, pap culture, I think, has just a culture of the last 3-4 years that has popped in, and I feel they're just doing their job. Yes, sometimes when you're not ready, you're in your oiled hair, you're just running from a salon to the other, or you're out of gym, which I mostly get papped in, where I will never have blow-dried hair. You know, I'm like literally gasping for breath. You don't really like it, but they're also just doing their job. So it doesn't take much to just smile and you know, and then sit in your car. So I feel like pap culture and celebrities can coexist. It's fine. You know that you can find them at airport. You know there are certain places that you will for sure, and especially Bandra. Like they live in Bandra. They have this whole what do you call, like contacts, you know, ek lane se dusre lane mein they'll be like, oh, this car number is going here, this car number is going there. But I feel like that's fine. That's still fine. As long as they're not crossing the personal space where like going onto a building and capturing, which had happened earlier, which they also very respectfully stopped. So I feel it's fine. And as far as weddings or any other celebration is concerned, I feel it depends on whether you know the family or not, and it's absolutely fine. Why not?
If you know the family, you can be
I
there.
mean, I feel like if you have an invite, if you've known, and it's not just the wedding. I mean, whatever you are trying to infer, there have been many other, there have been many other occasions of the same families where everyone has gone. So it's not just about the wedding. There is a relationship there. There is a familiarity, and there's no harm in just, you know, being present for someone's union.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we are talking about progressive content on OTT. We are talking about women leading charge. Anything on women's safety in India? Given a lot of chatter, I mean, anything on women's safety in India, please?
I think we need to just make stricter rules. There's a lot inside me which I should not say
Please say.
right now, but I feel like we have the laws. We don't have the enforcement. And I feel the moment we'll have one public enforcement, the way we discuss a particular rape case or rape cases, multiple in the country, we should discuss one punishment with that much zest on TV. And then you see, I mean, we don't enforce laws, and that's really sad. And it's high time that we start educating men about their behavior with women, as opposed to telling women how to dress, how to talk, how to behave. So I think that's a lack. I mean, that's a shortcoming as a society. Yeah.
Absolutely agree with you. And on that note, a final question: what's your professional goals, personal goals, say in next 2 to 3 years?
Oh, wow, lots of goals. I just want to keep working. I'm awaiting release for 2 films, working on 2 right now. So I just hope and pray that I keep doing interesting work, and yeah, because I'm a workaholic. So yeah, I just hope that I keep doing interesting work, and I can strike a beautiful personal, professional balance.
Thank you so much. That was Rakul for you, and you're a phenomenal performer and a
Thank
wonderful orator. We'll stay in touch and
Thank
maybe
you.
a better session, bigger, better next time also.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Siddhartha. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up loudly for Rakul Preet Singh over here. I'll request you to kindly please wait. I'll request Siddhartha Laik sir to kindly hand over the token of appreciation to Rakul for this wonderful, wonderful, engaging session. Can we have the token of appreciation, please? Ladies and gentlemen, मैंने पहले भी कहा था there is no GST when it comes to clapping, so your call can please clap and appreciate this wonderful session. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking time out and being with us over here, Rakul. We are truly, truly honored and privileged.